Hi, everyone. I'm Kat Oriel with Forbes Breaking News. Today, I'm here with Congresswoman Melanie Stansbury of New Mexico. Congresswoman, thanks so much for joining me today.
It's great to be with you.
Of course. So, you're a member of the House Oversight Committee, and last week there was a hearing about holding the first son, Hunter Biden, in contempt of Congress. So, I just want to ask at your overall thoughts. What do you make of this attempt to hold Hunter Biden, in contempt of Congress, and other efforts to impeach President Biden?
Yeah, well, I think it's pretty obvious to anyone who's watched any of these hearings. It's really turned into a giant political circus. I think it's important to understand the larger context as people are trying to understand what's going on. First of all, when the House Republicans took over the majority at the beginning of last year, there were already members of the caucus who were about to file articles of impeachment against Biden before he had even taken office. And what is so insane about that is that impeachment is really a backstop in the Constitution in order to address high crimes and misdemeanors by the executive branch, right? It is the most severe action that can be taken by Congress with respect to the president and administration officials. And we already had folks like Marjorie Taylor Greene ready to file for impeachment before President Biden had even taken office. So it's very clear that this is a political effort on behalf of the Republicans and certainly at the bequest of Donald Trump. And we know that because Donald Trump has been posting on his social media, calling for the impeachment. We know that he's directly coordinating with members of the committee, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz and others. And we know that he views this as part of his campaign strategy and that they see it as a way to diminish the criminal activity and record of Donald Trump himself to boost his efforts to win the next election. So when you look at the kind of history of how this all evolved, they were already talking about impeachment early last year. Over the summer, there were multiple impeachment resolutions filed. Some of the claims aren't even connected to the current things that they're trying to impeach the president for. But they found this sort of like kernel and keep going after Hunter Biden, the president's son, who frankly is not a official, is not involved in any official duties of the presidency, because they feel like if they keep pulling on this thread, somehow it's going to show something that is questionable that they can get the president on. But it's important that people understand that over the last year, the Oversight Committee and Judiciary Committee have reviewed tens of thousands of documents. They've held countless hours of investigations and depositions and reports with all manner of experts and people who've interacted with the family and with their business dealings. And it's very clear that there is no wrongdoing by President Biden to rise to any possible reason to proceed with an impeachment. And if you need any evidence of that, the Republicans' own expert witnesses, who are constitutional scholars who were brought in for the impeachment hearing, said the exact same thing on national television. But yet, in spite of that, they are still pursuing and kind of pulling on this thread. And it's because it's turned into a very effective campaign strategy for them as they're trying to support Donald Trump. So what we see week after week is they're like, okay, well, now we're going to call in this person, and then we'll call in this person, and then we're going to, hold Hunter Biden in contempt. Well, Hunter Biden offered multiple times to come to the committee. He offered going back to the spring of last year. He offered to testify publicly. His attorneys wrote to Comer multiple times, and Comer's staff never actually even responded. And then all of a sudden, they filed for a deposition after their impeachment hearing went up in burning flames because there was no there. And now they want to haul Hunter Biden in for a private closed door deposition, but won't let him testify under oath in front of the American people. And the reason is because if they have him testify behind closed doors, they can control the narrative, right? They can cherry pick little quotes and put things out there that give a smokescreen that there's something wrong going on there. And that's exactly what their strategy has been all along. So, last week's hearing, you saw how it devolved into a crazy circus. Mr. Biden, Hunter Biden, showed up at the beginning of the hearing itself and sat in the front row. And basically, his attorneys communicated to the committee leadership and said, he's right here. He's ready to take the oath. He's ready to testify. And when members on the Democratic side asked our Republican colleagues, will you let Hunter Biden sit right here in front of the American people today? They said no. So it's clear that they really don't have a case. And this is part of their efforts to prop up Donald Trump.
So putting aside illegality, do you at all see any impropriety in Hunter Biden's business dealings? Like, do you find it at all inappropriate that the son of the vice president at the time was collecting vast sums of money from foreign entities?
So the matter at hand that the Oversight Committee is charged with looking into is the impeachment of President Biden. That is what the supposed activity that the Oversight Committee and the leadership of the House GOP are pursuing. And they're pursuing it because Donald Trump has asked them to. And part of why they're pursuing that is because Donald Trump himself has been engaged in massive corruption. We just released a report 2 weeks ago that showed he took $7.8 million from foreign governments through his private businesses while he was sitting in the Oval Office. So folks were staying at his private hotel down the street, then coming to the Oval Office from various countries around the world, asking for arms deals and forgiveness and foreign affairs and things like that. We know that Donald Trump is currently being investigated under 91 criminal counts in 4 federal jurisdictions. He is being taken to court on civil charges for fraud in New York. He's got this defamation suit that is completely out of control right now over a rape that he has already been found liable for. I mean, I think what is outrageous to consider is that in the year 2024, as we are staring down one of the most serious threats to our democracy, to peace across the world, like, Republicans are playing around with our institutions over accusations against the sitting president that have no basis in reality. So, I mean, I think what we need to be focusing on is the reality that we have a political candidate that they're trying to prop up who is literally engaged in illegal activity, and they are refusing to investigate that while they continue to try to pull on these threads that don't lead anywhere.